All right, hello, Justin Scott here with another Lowell Ledger podcast. Here with three tennis guys. If you guys want to introduce yourselves, go ahead. I'll start with you, Micah.
All right, my name's Micah McDonald. I played 3 singles on the tennis team. It's my second year playing. I'm a junior, so yeah. Hand it over to Gavin.
My name's Gavin Stewart. I'm a 4-year varsity player at Lowell. I'm the number 1 singles, and yeah, Evan.
My name is Evan Dressander. I was third doubles this year, and I'm a sophomore. It's my first year playing tennis.
I'm glad we have like a variety of we got sophomore, junior, senior because in tennis you're either playing singles or you're playing doubles with a partner, and they're pretty different as far as gameplay stuff like that.
Sure, yeah.
So what do you guys prefer? If you got to pick, hey, I want to be doubles, I want to be singles, what would you go with?
Well, I started out my sophomore year, my first year playing, as number 4 doubles, and honestly that was really fun. But as the season started out, I played 1 dubs, and I just thought, man, if there's going to be faults, I want it to be my mistake, not my partner's mistake. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I switched to singles.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I played 2 doubles, well, 3 and 2 doubles my freshman year. And then my sophomore, junior, and senior, I've played 3 years of singles, and I've loved it a lot more than doubles. I feel, my freshman year, my partner didn't really care as much as I did. It wasn't as competitive. Senior year, he just kind of slacked off. But I like singles a lot more, same as Micah. The errors that our team makes is on me instead of my teammate, and I feel like I can build off of that more than my teammate faulting. So it's just something, me personally, I like singles more. Evan?
Yeah, it being my first year, I haven't really experienced full singles kind of gameplay, but I've been doing a lot of practice in the off season and playing doubles throughout the season. I feel like me kind of playing singles after the season and practicing that is a lot easier, a lot less stressful, and I feel like I can control the game more. So I definitely like playing singles a lot more.
So Evan, you didn't play your freshman year?
No, I did not.
So what encouraged you to jump in and play your sophomore year?
I had a friend on the team, so he kind of was been persuading me for a little bit, and a couple just kind of persuasions. My mom wanted me to play, so decided to join.
That's important because Gavin, last year, you guys were forfeiting some matches, right? Or
Yeah.
some flights because you didn't have enough people.
For sure, yeah.
And so who else kind of jumped in and helped get your numbers up? Because now you guys I think you had just enough.
Yeah, we had, 15 this year?
Yeah, 15.
So we had 15 kids this year. My freshman year, we actually had a JV team. And since my freshman year, we have not had a JV team since. And then my sophomore year, we had, I think, exactly 12. And then, like Justin said, last year, we were kind of scraping to get 12. And, with some freshmen that come in, they've got driver's training, and they'll miss some matches, whether it's later in the year, earlier in the year. So, like Justin said, we have to forfeit some matches, which sucks. Because against teams that we should be able to beat, going into the match, already losing one of the flights, it's hard to build back from that. So
Yeah.
it's hard not having a full team, but we had to kind of work around it.
Micah, why do you think that is? Why do you think last year numbers were so low? Because it's not just a Lowell thing. It's other schools are dealing with that as well.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I joined my sophomore year because I talked to the coach. My dad's a teacher here, and he talked to the coach. He said, hey, maybe you should come out and play, and I figured, why not? Because I've always been a cross-country kid in the fall or a basketball kid in the winter, but I decided to just cut out that, focus on tennis, and honestly, it was a really good decision. But overall, why teams have been falling off? Well, I know for one, here at Lowell High School, the middle school program isn't as how do I say this? It's not as big as other schools like Northern and Central, like Forest Hills, Northern and Central, because their programs are huge. Their school focuses a lot more on tennis, whereas our school focuses a lot more on wrestling or football or things like that.
And every year in my tennis articles, I harp on that because it's when you go up against a Forest Hills Central or a Forest Hills Northern, they're different programs. They have incredible youth programs. These are schools that come from money, and tennis is actually a pretty expensive sport if you want to get into lessons and stuff like that. Have any of you guys ever done any lessons?
No.
I've done some with Coach Phillips, and I did some with a previous varsity player a couple years back. But I really don't do that many lessons. I just play as hard as I can in season. And I also do the Lowell summer camp, like the youth camp,
Mhm.
which is like the first session is the younger kids, and the second session is like high school and middle school kids. So I've done that in the summers, but I really don't. I don't do lessons outside. I do play a lot out of season with whether it's teammates or my dad, my brother, whoever it may be, but I don't do lessons that often.
And I think looking back, and even to when I was in school, maybe the one singles did some lessons like you did, and they play outside of school, but outside of that, they don't have any formal training or anything like that. So it's just an interesting dynamic when you go up against a Forest Hill Central or Forest Hills Northern. Micah, when you play someone like that and you get shut out, what 6-0, 6-0 or whatever it is, what are you feeling? Like, does it hurt your confidence, or are you just like, man, they're just much better than me? Because I mean, it's happened to everybody here.
For sure, yeah.
Well, to be completely honest, my sophomore year, we only won a single match, me and my partner, Eli Wilcox. And so I didn't take much of a blow as much as I thought I would. At that point, it's like almost me playing myself. Like, I'm getting in my mindset, and I'm playing like this machine that just like can't be beat. I mean, I get that it's partly an emotional game, but at that point, I'm not like feeling any emotion. Like, I'm not feeling upset unless like I mess up, unless I fail. So, which is usually how it goes, but even more so in those games against those tougher teams. So, yeah.
Gavin, what about you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'd like to go back to the whole because I didn't play in middle school, and this is his first year and his second year, Evan and Micah, that is, and Phillips talks about this a lot. Like, I played baseball because tennis is in the spring in the middle school, and a lot of kids play tennis in the spring, and then they come to the high school and play, whether it's football, soccer, or cross country. They play another sport, and then when they get to the high school and fall season comes, they just don't play tennis. That's why, actually, the girls team, they have, I think, 30 kids on there. Well, it's I think combined, they have a huge JV team and then a pretty solid varsity team because they can pick through all the girls. With us, we have 12, 15 kids. But going back to the whole playing a really good school, this year I did get blown out a couple times, but I was a lot more competitive this year in the RCA, which was really nice because the past 3 years I just got pretty much killed in every match. I beat Greenville, beat Northview, but besides that, and Grand Rapids Christian I kind of hung with, but the Forest Hill schools, they've been playing since they were super young. It's like me playing baseball or anyone playing a lifelong sport. They're going to be that good at it because they have just that many more years of experience, and it's just hard to compete with them because at the end of the day, it's I feel like I played a good match. They just played a whole heck of a lot better. If I lose to a bad player, I feel I messed up, but when I lose to a really good player, it just feels like they beat me instead of me beating myself, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Evan?
Yeah, kind of piggyback off of what Micah said earlier, kind of about tennis being kind of a mental game and kind of an emotional game. I feel like this being my first year now, and the tennis team talking about previous years being really good conferences and stuff. When I went to some of later in the season games, kind of when we were playing better teams, kind of noticed that difference that they were talking about, kind of the level of gameplay that we were playing opponents at, and for sure it kind of didn't really stress me out or anything. Kind of what games did in earlier in the season, kind of didn't make me as quite as nervous or stuff like that. But it was definitely the mental aspect of the game that would kind of beat you sometimes. But other than that, it was playing those harder teams wasn't as big of a deal as I thought it would be. It's kind of more you kind of playing yourself at that point.
Who's your doubles partner?
My doubles partner this year was Riley Haynes.
And how did you guys coagulate as a team? would you say?
I felt as a team we actually played quite well. I had a couple partners throughout the season. I probably played the best with Riley, kind of as far as our chemistry went. On the court and off the court was really positive, and it was just good.
If let's say you make a mistake or Riley makes a mistake, how do you guys bounce back from that and just not blame each other? Because I think that's easy to do in doubles, especially when you're younger and you're just getting into it, and maybe you play a really good point and then maybe your partner messes up or something like that, or you mess up. How do you get over that?
Yeah, for sure. Just kind of throughout the game, everybody's going to kind of make mistakes like that, and you tend to see your partner kind of get down on themselves, and I just try my absolute best to like pick my partner up, and I know my partner will do the same for me when I'm kind of struggling. So it was nice to have like somebody on the court that was like really behind me, kind of like in my corner. It made playing the season much more enjoyable.
It was kind of, the RCA was kind of mentioned by Gavin, and I'm wondering what you guys all think of the conference switch, because I think of all the sports, tennis really kind of, it helped tennis the most, because the OK White as a tennis conference was just so unbelievably
Like
good.
top of the
It's
state.
brutal.
I love
Yeah.
the RCA. It's great.
Yeah.
Especially compared to the OK White. Those schools were like Northern One States. Byron Center I think was top 3. Like Central was definitely up there. So it's a great switch. Micah, you go then. I'll talk on it later.
All right. Yeah, honestly, when I saw the teams that we were playing, and I have a class with Gavin, and ironically, our tennis coach teaches that class. Like, we would look at tennisreporting.com, during class and stuff, and I'd look at those teams, just be like, thank God, like we have, like we stand a chance, and it's not like we're especially a better team for it, but it's not like it hasn't helped us, because it has. I think overall we've improved as a team, like in terms of morale, in terms of like actual skill. We've gotten a lot more practice in, I think, and games haven't been as tough mentally. They haven't been as tough physically. So I think it's honestly kind of a relief for our team.
Yeah, for sure. Like this year, I can't recall my wins, but I feel like this year I had more wins than my first 3 years combined. Cause like I'd beat like I said, Greenville and Northview, but then other than that, like we didn't really beat anybody. Like besides like out of conference matches where we play like Grant, but like other than that, we really didn't win any matches. So it was great having a conference that we could at least be competitive with. Like I think we ended like I think 3rd or 4th in the conference, which is pretty good for being last in the OK White. So it was great having a switch and being more competitive in all of our matches instead of going into a match last year that we just knew we were going to lose. This year we went into it knowing we'd at least have a fighting chance. So it was great, especially my senior year, to kind of get some wins my last year.
Did that change team morale? Like, was team morale this year higher than last year, where you're going in loss after loss after loss after loss? Because that can't be easy.
Yeah, like my 4 years, this is definitely maybe not the funnest year, but one of the most fun years that I've ever had playing tennis. Whether it's because I'm a senior and I'm all older than all these guys, but like my freshman year, I think it was really fun. But it's just everyone was so much better than me. But like this year, I'm playing against these guys that like although I'm beating them, I'm just having a great time and winning these matches. It's just a great feeling because like the first 3 years I just kind of got killed, and like you said, over and over we just keep losing. It's like, how can we fix this? And then we got in this new conference that at least I think, I don't know, I can't speak on these guys' behalf, but I think this year was definitely, it's your first year, but this year was a lot more. I mean, I'm always not good mentally because I'm always down on myself, but I just feel that this year was a lot better because, like you said, we're winning matches, so I loved it, yeah.
I get it, because when I was in high school, we were in a conference with Grand Rapids Christian, and for golf. And Grand Rapids Christian was, I mean, they were just really, really good. And so when we would play, and that was when they were doing dual meets and stuff like that. So when we go up against Grand Rapids Christian, I'm like, I'm paired with this guy who is shooting in the 30s, and I'm just like, well, what can I do? So you just kind of have to almost compete with yourself and try to be better than yourself the last time you go out in an individual sport. Evan, do you play any other sports?
I play baseball in the spring.
Okay, so you play baseball. Gavin plays baseball, and Micah, you play another sport, right?
All my life I've played like tons of sports, but once I got into high school, I kind of started focusing more on like tennis.
Okay, so that's interesting, because like I think for all of you, like you guys all play different sports. And I think that's pretty common with tennis. I think it's a sport that gets a lot of multi-sport athletes and stuff like that are doing stuff later in the year.
Yeah, like I feel playing multiple sports, it helps me in baseball and it helps me in tennis because like obviously being athletic helps with anything. Like moving around the court, getting to every ball and getting it over the net is just obviously it's going to help you win. But just keep those points going, staying athletic. Like Evan, it's his first year playing, and he's probably one of the most athletic kids on our team.
Mm-hmm.
And same with Dylan, who's not here, but he's a freshman who also plays baseball, and he's, again, super athletic. It's a trend that we're all baseball players, but I just feel that kids that play other sports, it keeps them kind of in shape all year. Instead of like playing tennis, you play in the fall. Unless kids play all year, you're gonna have that winter, spring, and you might play in the spring and summer, but you're gonna have that time off. But with playing in our sport, you're gonna be staying active all year, and it helps me, and I think it helps other guys in multiple sports. It helps you in every facet of the game, I feel.
Evan, how would you describe Coach Phillips? Like, if you were to like describe him in a few words.
Oh man, Coach Phillips. Me and Coach Phillips are best buddies.
There we go.
For sure.
For sure.
My favorite moment is when we were going to our conference match, and he got hit on the highway?
Yeah, he got a car crash.
Yeah, he got in a little car accident. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't. No,
really?
Good news.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
Was it?
Like his car got totaled, and then he got a Tesla.
Oh,
but he was going down the highway on the way to our conference match, and I think he got hit by some lady from either the side or behind into another car. I've seen his car. I don't really know the full story just from what he's told me, but I was like, whoa. And he's lucky to be alive. Like, he was going, 80, 85 on the highway, so he was listening to a podcast, kind of not zoned out, but he's just kind of,
Right,
like, it's 7, 8 in the morning. Like, he's pretty tired, but then he said that this lady hit him, and then whatever, like, his entire side of his car, his passenger side, there, one of the handles was off the door.
Oh,
There was, the mirror was off, there was no rear view mirror. His hubcaps were all, like, chipped, and those had to get replaced. It was completely totaled, but it's still drivable somehow. He couldn't open both of the doors on the passenger side, but
Still
yeah.
made it to our conference matches.
Yeah.
Look at that.
for
Look at the
sure.
dedication.
I know, like, parents, he mentioned this at our banquet. He's like, there was plenty of parents offered to go pick him up from the side of the highway and take him to our conference match, but he's like, no, it's drivable. I can get over there in the next who knows how long. But yeah, he's so dedicated to our team. He's been here forever, and I'm sorry if you weren't done, but he's a great guy. Like, great. This year we also had assistant coach Ty. We'll kind of give our opinions on him after this, but Phillips was just the 4 years that I've been with him, whether it's actually more like 7 or 8 with the tennis camps in the summer. He's just been a great mentor for me, great coach. Just he taught me everything I've known about the game, and it was nice having Ty, who was someone I could actually like play with. Not that I couldn't play with Phillips, but Ty was a little younger, and I can run him around. But Phillips is just such a great teacher, great guy, and yeah, I'm gonna miss him for sure.
Micah, what about you?
Oh man, Coach Phillips. I mean, I there's nothing that I can say that Gavin hasn't already stressed, except for the fact that honestly, like, even on a personal level, like, he would bring us over some days, just like what is it called? Oh, feed balls to us. Can't remember. And yeah, that was really great on a more personal level, because you got to like talk with him, and like he would like show you more personal stuff, and that's all stuff that he would also do in like lessons and summer camps, like Gavin mentioned. So yeah, it's he's pretty dedicated to the sport.
And Gavin, you mentioned assistant coaches here. Ty, not Neris, right?
Yeah, Evan, you want to start?
Best buddy Ty. Didn't actually know Ty all that well. Actually never heard of him. I don't even know how long it took him to get to practice. I don't know if he was there on the first day or not.
It was like
No, he wasn't there
couple
till
weeks.
our first
Yeah.
it was the day before school started, I believe.
He graduated last year, right?
No, he graduated
2
my freshman year. He was a senior. So
Oh,
I
wow, okay.
actually played with him. I'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, he's what 3 years older than I am. So yeah, Evan, go.
Yeah. Just first initially meeting Ty, stuff like that. It's kind of a little difference between him and Phillips as far as like the age. So kind of Ty being kind of more our age, kind of stuff like that. Just kind of played a different role, kind of like as far as him being a coach and stuff. Definitely played an effect on him, like being a coach and stuff. He's still a great coach. Taught me a lot this season. I really enjoyed him as a coach. Joined him like being off the court as well. It was a lot of fun to be around Ty, and I just really enjoyed kind of the tennis like just kind of atmosphere. Is very positive for most of the games, especially coming from the coaches. A lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Ty, again, I knew him for my freshman year, and I was the only one that he actually knew. Well, he might have known freshman Evan Dietz from their sisters riding horses together. Anyways, I knew him from my freshman year, and he was #1 singles. I thought he was like a god my freshman year because he was just so good, and actually, Philip said he's actually gotten better since his senior year. Actually, he doesn't play in college. He goes to Calvin, but he's just a great coach. Like I talked to Ty pretty much every side change, and just the advice that he's giving me, I don't even notice, and somehow he notices it, and then sorry, he notices it and then just tells me like try this, and then I do it and it works. It's just his tennis IQ is through the roof, and I'm really gonna miss him next year because if I would have had at least another year or another 2 years with him, I feel like, and he stresses this a lot. He's like, I could have made you a great tennis player. Not that I'm not amazing, but he's like, dude, I could have made you an amazing tennis player if we had another year together. So
famous Ty quote. You all suck at tennis except for Gavin. So.
he did say
favorite Ty quote for sure.
I'd say I was probably his favorite.
Oh, by far.
By far. He was at. Actually, this is a little stat. The first part of the year when I was with Ty, like when he was at our matches and whatnot, I think it was 10-2, and then actually I did sprain my ankle. But when at conference and regionals, when Ty was not there, I went 1-3. I feel like it just kind of speaks to his influence on me. Where if he's there, and I dap him up every side change. It's just great to have him there, especially younger. Like he can relate to pretty much everything that we're going through, and like, just a funny guy, great teacher. Just overall, I'm gonna miss him for sure too, Micah.
Oh, Ty. Well, there were moments one thing that comes to mind is the Coopersville game where he would come to me during like a side change. Or even not during a side change, you just lay on the fence, and when I go back to serve, you just be like, come on, like, get another one. And that was, like, really great, not only for my morale, but for my motivation, because when you can see your coach rooting for you actively, tennis isn't, like, a very audible game. You won't be hearing screams unless you're at Evans Court. And so, like, just to hear him talk like that is, like, so motivating, so out of the blue, so motivating. So it's, like, yeah, overall, really motivating coach. I know I sound like a broken record, but yeah.
Gavin, you had mentioned to me the other day you were thinking about college tennis. How are those conversations going?
Yeah, so I've been looking into playing collegiate tennis at Aquinas, and I kind of got this opportunity through a job I had this summer coaching tennis at Cascade Country Club. My coworkers there three of the four actually. Play at Aquinas. Two of them recently graduated. One of them is still there. She's in her junior season there. And yeah, I looked into it, and one of my coworkers at Cascade got me the coach's number. So I was talking to him, and then actually a week or two ago, he texted me and said that he stepped down as head coach, which kind of threw my process into a whirlwind because I was like, okay, I was talking to this guy who's going to get me out to a practice. We were going to kind of move forward with this. Then he stepped down as head coach. He's just said for personal reasons. And then he gave me their assistant coaches or new head coaches' numbers, and I've been reaching out to them, talking to them recently. One of them's in Europe, and one of them just won't respond to me. But he's kind of inconsistent. But yeah, I really like the process. I kind of wish I had started earlier with reaching out to coaches and whatnot. But yeah, it's great to have this opportunity, and I'm hoping to build on it and play collegiate tennis next year. If not, then I'll see where it takes me. Hopefully I can play club or walk on somewhere.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of opportunities for tennis because there's your Division I, Division II schools and their actual teams. So you can also play club at,
Sure.
larger universities, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, just a lot of different options that you can go.
Yeah.
Micah, was there a particular maybe match in the season that was memorable to you and that, like, there was a great comeback or something like that? Really, like, big point, something crazy?
Yeah. One match we played Coopersville, and before the set, I was talking to Coach, and it was crazy because I was like, "Hey, Coach, has anyone ever like completely got bageled the first set and then won the whole thing?" And he was like, "Well, yeah, it's not too uncommon." So it made it less cool. But yeah, after that, I played Coopersville. First set, didn't win a single game. But I bounced back. And my grandma was there,
Nice.
so I was like, probably should impress my grandma.
I do it for grandma.
So yeah. So won the second set, something like 6-3 maybe 6-4, and then third set got pretty close. It was 7-5. But yeah, that was easily the most memorable game. I just remember Gavin's match finished like, I don't know, 4 seconds before I slammed down the final hit.
For sure. Are you done? Sorry.
Yeah, no, you
Yeah, so Coopersville is definitely up there for one of my favorite matches. Mike and I finished at the same time. I played 2 sets and he played 3. So, but my sets were like I think 7-5, 6-4. So, super quick or not super quick, super long and tough matches. But yeah, it was good to get that win. I actually didn't play Greenville in the regular season. That's when I sprained my ankle. But I'd say my favorite match was probably Calvin Christian because that kid was a loudmouth, and I beat him.
A tennis loudmouth, really?
Yeah, he was. I hope he's not listening to this, but
I mean, if he is, oh well.
yeah, I beat him. But he had a huge serve. I played a lot of kids with big serves. I got aced a lot this year, which is kind of it sucks. But then the fact that I can like build off that and still win those games. But this kid had a weird serve, huge serve, but just his ground strokes weren't that good. So it was good to beat him. And by the end of the match, he was like questioning my out calls. He's saying they're on line. I'm like, they're not. It's my call.
That's got to be a really tough part of the sport, right? Because
yeah, for sure.
I mean, when we played pickleball before, even line calls there, you're like, I have no idea. You just got. And but when you're in a competitive tennis match, it matters the line calls.
Yeah.
So you both just have to try to do your best.
Yeah, like it's kind of like a courtesy thing. It's like obviously if it's on a line, you really should give that ball to your opponent. Or for me, it's probably going too fast and I have no clue, so I just hit it. And then on side change, Ty's like, Gavin, the ball was a foot out. I'm like, okay, great.
And he can't call that though, right? He can't say anything, or can he?
Ty, no.
Okay.
No, so he cannot say anything. No, but I remember one. Who was it? I want to say like Kenwood Hills. But I was playing this kid that he hit a serve, and I hit it back, and he called his own serve out. Yeah, I'm like, no, it was in. He's like, no, that serve was definitely. I'm like, dude, you're down 6-0, 5-0. Like this match is over, and he's still questioning his own serve. I'm like, you do you, man. I'm like, this match is over, and this serve doesn't matter. But it's kind of funny, like some kids that are down a lot, they really kind of make bad calls, or how do I put this? Like, I feel I don't know. I didn't go.
Maybe there's some desperation. Like
yeah, for
you're
sure.
down. Let's say you're down 5-3 in the last, and it's love 40, right? And you're serving. You're in a desperate spot at that situation, and you're like, well, I think it was in, so I'm going to call it in, and maybe, my opponent thinks it's out. And, I mean, I think that's just part of the game. That's tough without replay. And it's one of the sports that it's really hard to have replay,
Yeah, I've talked to my dad about this, like watching pro tennis. Like, you think it'd be a lot easier not having to worry about your own calls? Because, like, at pro or, like, collegiate, there's a chair ump that does the calls for you. So you don't, all you have to pay attention to is just playing tennis. You don't have to worry about your own calls. So yeah, it's kind of desperation where like if you're down, like it's going back to that Calvin Christian kid, like the last couple games or even that tiebreaker in the second set, he was like questioning every one of my calls. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I don't want to go to third set, and neither do you.
Mhm.
Like, your ball is out, so why are we still arguing it?
And like, let's say it's very clearly in. Like you see it bounce in after like you've hit it, and then he calls it out.
Yeah.
What do you do there? Does it normally go to a replay even though
I
you're
usually
like,
just don't really argue it. I hate arguing.
Mhm.
Like, I don't care. It depends, no matter what it is. Evan, I don't argue. You know that. I don't like getting people angry, and I don't like arguing, but if you're making bad calls consistently, then I'll kind of say something. But if you make one bad call, it's 1 point, man. Like, there's thousands that I've played, so.
Evan, what about you? Craziest, set or game
man.
or match of the season?
Comstock Park.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. 100%. It was
Oh.
kind of more like a, wasn't really like a,
Scrimmage.
yeah,
It was
it's
an
more like a
exhibition.
scrimmage.
It didn't count. Coaches could coach during the.
Yeah, it didn't really count.
I played with Evan. That's why
yeah.
I'm saying that.
Yeah, me and Gavin Stewart played together,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
lucky. He's lucky, had a
Yeah.
free schedule, open schedule. We were playing Comstock Park, and our coach really wanted to kind of just open up things, kind of see where people would end up kind of falling for next year a little bit. And I got to play with Gavin, who's our #1 singles. So yeah, he's lucky to have me for that. That we
Sure.
got put at 1-dubs. We played Comstock Park's 2 and 3 singles,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
That was probably the most fun I had all year for sure. It was very laid back. It was just a lot of me and Gavin just having fun, kind of like talking in between points, kind of that kind of stuff. It was like a let loose game, kind of. I got to like relax and just kind of play tennis in an easier way. But kind of going back to bad calls, that was my pet peeve of my partner, kind of during the regular season. Riley, you're getting shouted out right now because he had some questionable calls throughout the season and did not help our calls when our opponents were calling because they were not very happy with Riley's quite clearly missed calls. So that was a little difficult on the season. But other than that, season was a lot of fun. Wasn't too bad on as far as missed calls. There's like one kind of set where we were kind of getting gypped on calls, but other than that, not much complaints.
Yeah, I just let it say I don't like doubles, but playing with Evan, that Comstock Park game was so much fun. Like, there was one kid who had just a crazy serve that he aced. They aced both of us. He aced me at least twice, I think.
He aced me like pretty much every.
If his
serve.
first serve was in, it was most likely an ace, or it wasn't going over the net. But yeah, I don't like doubles, but playing with Evan was just a blast. Especially it was like an exhibition of my last home match, my last match besides regionals. So it was great playing my last doubles match and just kind of screwing around. But still, we won and we had a great time. So yeah, and Evan, like, he's just great energy and great guy to play with because he's always hyping you up, like literally every point. So yeah, it was great to play with him and beat those guys who were definitely like solid players. Like that kid with the big serve had a pretty good forehand too. Like they were solid. And then their one single actually played Micah. He lost, but
Yeah.
Was that fun?
speak on that.
I played 2 or 3 doubles, I think.
Just
with
2 with Anderson.
Yeah, with Anderson, our 4 singles player.
Mhm.
We played there 1 singles and 3 doubles, so we pretty much were playing Gavin and Evan. It was probably the worst game I've ever played.
Did you just try to hit to the 3 doubles guy and just hope that the 1 singles guy didn't hit it?
Yeah, but that 1 singles guy was all over the court. Plus, his girlfriend was there, so
He was trying to
extra
show out.
You were fighting a losing battle there.
He
Yeah.
showed up to play.
Oh yeah, and yeah, because me and Anderson were playing the whole time. We weren't necessarily playing it like a serious game.
Mhm.
And by the end, we were just like, well, it's like it's 6-0, 5-0. Want to wrap this thing up or something? I mean,
But was it actually 0-0?
no, we won
Okay.
a few games, but
Okay.
like, at that point, it's like, oof, these guys are playing like demons. So, yeah.
It does seem like a fun group overall, though. Like, I mean, I was
Oh,
out
yeah.
doing the recording, and then Eli was there, and like it just seemed like a fun group.
Yeah.
For sure.
Last thing before we head out, are there any players that maybe we haven't mentioned that maybe we should have mentioned that played good this year or were at least entertaining?
Oh man.
Give me a sec. Evan, go.
Who to say? Gotta shout out my boy Eli. He introduced me to tennis. Glad he did. I had a lot of fun this season. Playing challenge matches and stuff against him. He's a solid player. It's tough to play against him. I got a lot of practice against him during the off season, so that's a lot of fun to play him. An annoying player to play against is probably Noah. He has some really strong forehands and backhands, and he's a pretty big guy, so he's got like good wingspan, so he reaches around a lot. He's pretty annoying to play. Same as Micah's pretty annoying to play. He's got a weird play style, and
Gets in your head.
yeah, not in my head, but he
Just scream.
Tell you, it doesn't get in your racket.
Let's see. Probably Deeds.
yeah, he
Oh, yeah.
played Deeds a lot.
Yeah, because he was a 2 singles, so I kind of had to play him, and I kind of feel bad for him because I don't know if he won a game against me this year. Sorry, Deeds.
I did. I don't want to be that guy, but
Bro, it was like a day after I sprained my ankle. Regardless, yeah,
You're not living it down.
Deeds is fun to play with. Like I said, no one. How do I put this? No one really beat me or like competitive with me, so I had to play against Ty. So, which it was great playing Ty. Like I beat him like one set and then he'd just kill me the next set. It's like because it's great just having him there to kind of humble me, because he hits like his forehand and backhand are just crazy. His serve's amazing. He's good with the net. So it's hard to play Ty, especially that he's older than us, can hit harder. But
So your favorite player's the coach. Gotcha.
yeah.
Oh, I see.
Gotcha.
Because
Okay.
he-
Okay.
That
Okay.
goes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Who's the most annoying to play against? Probably Micah.
Micah. Yeah, for sure. Most annoying to play against is definitely Micah.
Because he screams even if he loses.
Yeah.
All right, Micah.
The
who's your
tennis
favorite?
grunt power is real.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
sure.
real.
It is.
All right. Anything else, guys?
I don't know. Anybody?
Honestly, I've only played 2 seasons of
Yeah.
tennis. but this
Come play
season
tennis.
was-
It's awesome. I'm gonna if you don't play a fall sport, I won't be here. But it's a great time.
I'll be here.
Yeah. These two will be here, but it's a great time for sure. Like, I regret not playing before high school, although I did play with my family and whatnot. But it was just amazing 4 years, and I'll forever remember it. So, yeah,
All right.
it's
Very cool.
Sure.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
yeah.
No, yeah, thank you
Thank you-
guys.
thank you, Justin.
This was fun. So, all right. Well, we'll see you guys next time.
Sweet.
All right.